kind of the success of this organization. It starts with Kyle and John. Obviously, Kyle, the offense he runs, he's a great teacher. He teaches coaches. He wants coaches to learn and to kind of grow into the roles that they grow into. So it starts with those guys and their leadership and the positions that they put us in to coach, to learn this game, teach it to the players. Just being around those guys and absorbing it. It's also a product of success. It's no secret that NFL teams are going to look for coaches who are part of winning teams. And we've had success here. I think that kind of goes along with it as well. So it's a combination of things, but it's a great place to be, that's for sure. A great place to learn.
When you think of
coaches to be learning, you want coaches to be training to kind of take the next steps and to elevate in their roles, and that you're just building, better coaches around you when you do that.
Is that, do you aspire to that, to move, to run your own offense, to be a head coach? Or guys, Brian, then he kind of shut it down. Look, I'm in my room right now dealing with my guys.
I think most of us coaches have aspirations of what we want to do, but it's like anything else. You want to be the best for the Niners. You want to win a world championship with the Niners. And if you're thinking about other things, and you're not going to be your best self. And so we're just here to go one day at a time and get our players as best as they can be so we can win a championship.
What's the shift and change in title for you entail as far as changing responsibilities this year? Is a little less QB and more passing oriented?
Yeah, maybe probably a little more holistic, passing game all around, dealing with all the skill position groups a little more closely, which I've kind of been doing, the past couple years as well. I've been with quarterbacks, but kind of had my hand in a lot of things, but I guess just expanding the role a little bit, a little bit more responsibility in some areas,
Is this the same role that Clint had last year? Is it?
Yeah, I guess so. Clint and I work together really closely. I guess it's the same role.
And you talk about, the offense being holistic, and I know Kyle loves to tie pass and run together. So even though you're focused by title on pass, are you still working a lot with Brian doing, run stuff and
Absolutely. Yeah. It all ties together. Starts with formations, starts with our scheme and how we want to tie runs into play actions, protections, and all those things. So it all ties together, and we, Brian and Coach Firster, we all do a good job of kind of working together to try to make our offensive install look like what we're going to be in the season.
He's, I already said it, there's nothing that I can see physically that's going to limit him from doing everything he asked him to do. He's got the frame, he's got big hands, good hands. From what I can tell, he's got the movement skills to run all the routes. His maximum speed isn't going to be what George's is, but you don't have to have that to necessarily function as a tight end in this league and in this offense. So I'm excited to see, what his ceiling is. At this point, it's unknown, but I see all the ability from a talent standpoint to get there.
Could he be like a Toilolo type of guy where he plays on the end and just uses that frame in short spaces?
He could be if that's where we needed him. I do think he has, at this point, probably a better pass catching skill set and route running skill set than Levine did. But I don't think everything's going to develop at the same rate, so we'll kind of see what his role potentially could be. We'll probably focus on a certain part of his game maybe earlier than others, and I don't yet know what that's going to be. It's kind of based on the rest of the roster.
The second play I saw in Pline's tape, he caught a pass over the middle, got lit up, but he held on to it. And to me, a guy that had only played basketball, that didn't seem like something you just learn. It's something that you just have, right?
100%. And there's other basketball players we've evaluated that I haven't been as excited about, but we are always looking for signs of a certain level of toughness and physicality, tolerance that is there, and he definitely had that. We were able to see that, so it makes you more excited to work with the rest of it.
Your warm-up drill with Kittle when he's kind of banging, he's getting the ball in the paint, almost sounds like a basketball play too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How is George's game progressed the last couple? Playing at all pro level, blocker as a receiver, but I guess what can we expect out of George this year?
I think he's constantly evaluating in his understanding of the game and some of the little nuances that he can add to routes. We're pretty specific and deliberate about how we want routes run, but I think he has a better understanding of how people are trying to take those away and what he can do to still give himself a potential catch in those situations.
Countermeasures.
Right. But that's probably a better question for him.
Yeah, he doesn't like to talk.
I know Latu's been dealing with the rehab since last year. Has he been able to do anything specifically to work on some of the drop issues that we did see post training camp?
I think he's just going to come in with a fresh start. You know, I think he probably was putting a lot of pressure on himself. Again, like, you can ask him about that, but I think he's been able to have a mental and physical reset. Obviously, he's rehabbing, and once he gets 100% healthy and cleared to play, then I think we're going to be starting over. And not necessarily from a mental standpoint, because he has been studying, but I think just, you know, with the pressure that comes with being a rookie, I think a lot of that will be alleviated, and hopefully we'll be able to see the best version of him come out.
And how valuable was the high stakes action that Braden Willis was able to get last year? I think George even went out toward the end of the Super Bowl, and Braden was in there.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that he can use as a springboard for this season?
I do. I think he does a great job of preparing and using any opportunity he gets to play as a learning experience, and that showed up early on. Just, you know, his evolution from the preseason into some of those early games. He got in against the Giants, and I think his first block, he got somebody dumped on their back, and I see it constantly throughout the season. So I've never felt like he was very intimidated by those situations, but I do think it's valuable for him to have those experiences and learn from them.
Since the day he came on, the day after the draft, you know, he's like, man, let's work, you know, let's get better, you know, and you know, we everybody can see what type of player he is based off the skills, based off the highlight tapes and things of that nature. But what I admire is his attitude, you know, his competitiveness to go and work, compete, and to want to get great. So.
Balboa Park, San Francisco, where we quite literally have the Joe Montana tram. You guys will remember I wrote about the Joe Montana tram in Prague, Czech Republic of all places, but here we have the Joe Montana Muni train. One of those old school Muni trains too. This is the M stop, awesome sandwich spot. There's Steph Curry shooting a sandwich, Joe Montana driving the Muni train, the M line, and Jerry Rice riding the Muni train. Of course, no San Francisco Mount Rushmore of modern sports would be complete without Barry Bonds hitting a sandwich, probably into the bay. This is the M stop in Balboa Park. I love it, man.